Hello, my name is FRANCESFOX. I am a trained remote viewer. I was trained by the government because I was put in a secret mind expansion, mind control program since I was born. Years ago, I was afraid to say that. I would say I started when I was 5. No, it was since I was born. I was in Munich, Germany. After the Second World War, a lot of stuff happened over there that still hasn't been revealed. I have all of the psychic abilities very developed because it's been a lot of years that I have been trained, and I was sent to many different places to work with shamans in order to augment what I call my superpowers, because honestly, they are superpowers, and the government considered them superpowers. The level of expertise that I attained, I was not the only one. So I can say it because I'm not the only one. I have a degree in political science from the University of Miami. Why on earth I would have done that? Probably to set myself up on my mission, the same way I chose to be part of this very treacherous, horrendous program. Before I incarnated, I understood that I wanted to achieve something, and in order to achieve it, I had to be in a certain place that was not going to be a very good place. No, and I did not remember that. So all of you that have had miserable lives, you chose it. That is part of the not remembering. So what do I do with these? Why did I decide in this incarnation that I wanted these skills? Because I wanted to give extra information to everybody so that they and the Buddha said that the basis for human anguish, ignorance, is a lack of information. So I'm here to provide extra information. I'm an information expert. And I'm here to make myself available to you. Because honestly, the kind of stuff that I did with the government, not my cup of tea. I'm a Cancer astrologically. That means family, home, friends, love, comfort, nurturing. Totally the opposite of what it was that I lived. It was tough. It was, and what are we talking about? 30 years of therapy. So here we are to answer your questions for the first time in English, because I've been doing this for 30 years in Spanish. But moving over into English in the United States has always been a little bit dangerous because of not having permission. Right now, I think everything is in a free fall. I'm not concerned at all about answering your questions in English, even though there's probably going to be some stuff that I'm not going to answer. So we have some questions that were sent to us previously. And I'm going to start with the question that is probably the most important today, which is, what the heck is going on with my kids? Or what's the heck going on with kids today in general? What is the matter with them? This is not the before my protection. This is my talisman. His name is Macho, and he's a teddy. Anyway, my dogs sit on me and they anchor me when I'm doing the important stuff, or they sit on the floor in between my legs and make sure that my root chakra is anchored. Okay, so what is going on with the kids today? What's going on with the children today is that we have not understood our energy field, and we have not understood that we have 72,000 strings that extend 360 degrees from the center axis, which is where the chakras are. Unfortunately, these strings have one enemy, and that is the element of fire. Fire, the same as with DNA. And there is a lot of DNA in those strings. So our children go to bed with earphones that have magnets in them that change the direction of electricity. Their cell phones, their computers, they do the video games, all of those radiate fire. They probably tried to get the router real close to them in order to be able to get really good signal. Some of them sleep with the router under their beds. If you can remember that the router went under the bed, augmented dramatically the time he spent with radiating devices, you can probably remember or understand when it was that the personality of your child or the children around you went south. Because once you burn these mind streams, okay, these are the mind streams from string theory. That's the book that I'm publishing within a month. So we can stop looking for the fundamental structure of the universe because we found it. Now you need to know about it, and for that's the book. So when you burn these, and they're like a canopy, like an umbrella, you leave a hole. Spirits come in, and then your child is no longer the same. They change their personality. They don't want to go to school. They're not the same. They're not sweet. They become angry very easily. So that's my answer. What's the matter with my kids, or society's kids? They have lost their protection due to their mind streams, which channel the nectar of their mind, being burned by the only thing that can harm them, which is the fire element. So we're going to go into something a lot more fun now. Another question. Somebody said to me, I had somebody that I related to and I had sex with them only 2 or 3 times. I can't seem to disconnect from them. My dogs like to pay attention when a dog walks in the next zip code. And we have to tolerate that because my talisman, my protection. Anyway, so she wanted to know why she couldn't get over this particular person. So look how interesting. You see those strings? When you have sex with somebody, all the chakras blow open, and this becomes a channel, which is what it was supposed to be originally, and it gets shut down by the chakras. When you have sex, this central channel opens. It's called an orgasm, and you touch God. Okay, so what's the problem with this woman not being able to forget this man that she's not really that interested in? When you have sex with somebody, you connect in terms of these strings for 12 years. It takes 12 years for these strings to let go of a sexual connection. These strings have a life. They have 5 fingers at the end, and they're very grabby. They don't let go. And because you're so open when you have sex with that orgasm, you end up with a deep connection that takes years to separate. If you make an effort, you can make that shorter or you can eliminate it. You can do that with a mantra. Please, God, help me with my intention to disconnect from him or her. And you really need to do that especially if that other person does not have a great life. Why? Because these strings are channels that go 2 ways. I did a TV show once, and that particular show was about sex, and people called in just like here. Oh, we can do that one time. We'll just do one just on sex. So some lady calls in and says, I'm always sick in my uterus and my ovaries and my back, and why am I always sick and I can't work? When I checked, I said to her, oh my God, how many men have you had sex with that are now in jail? And she laughed and said, well, I don't really know because I don't really stay in contact with them. I don't know if she was a prostitute or if she just was sex fiend. She had sex with many men, some of which were in jail, more than 2 or 3. Maybe she was a prostitute in jail. I have no idea. I didn't bother asking. It was embarrassing. It was on a TV show live. And she was actually, those men because she was connected with those channels, she was connected to their life, and they were in jail. So I said to her, you really need to stop doing that, and you need to clean this up. There are many things that clean up the second chakra, from crystals that are orange, because that's the color of it, from going to the beach a lot, because the sexual chakra, just 2 inches below your belly button, channels the element of water. Water heals it. We brought out a new music video that's a sensory therapy for the second chakra. It has the sound of water, the sound of drums, musical notes that work on the second chakra, because there are musical notes connected to each chakra. And there's many other things that you can do to clear. Contact with nature is really good. I would lay on the ground. If you go to bed with somebody who's really very iffy, I would go and grab a tree and tell the tree, please remove whatever, cut this connection, cut the connection. Because it is a connection, which is a channel. And you can't just tell that channel. So sorry. The fingers at the end of the channel grab. My dogs are not usually this bad. My first Twitter live and my dogs have to act out. I guess worse things can happen. So basically, if you go to bed with somebody because you were drunk or for whatever reason, or you really didn't want to have sex, you really need to clean that up. And you can do that. Bathtub with Epsom salt, any type of salt, any type of crystal will help to clear. But you have to do the mantra. Give instructions to the spirits that are simply your master spirits, or the spirits of the crystals that you're going to put on your body that are good for the second chakra, or the crystals in the Epsom salt or in the Himalaya salt that you put in the water. Ask everything to help you to release your mind streams that are grabbing onto that other person. That is the reason why you can have a long relationship, end it, and 10 years later, you still think of the person. And you're going, but I don't really want to be there. Why can't I get over it? Why can't I stop thinking about it? It's that 12-year connection with the mind streams. The mind streams channel a nectar called Amrit. Amrit is the nectar they talk about in the Bible when God pours a nectar onto humans. And that nectar is your consciousness. Your consciousness is not the strings. It's what flows through there. So the question you ask the most, and I would say that at least 4 people asked that question for this chat today, is why can't I sleep better at night? What happened to my sleep? Why do I have insomnia? I slept well my whole life. Why in the last several years can I not sleep? You can't sleep because the galactic attacks, the beings that are from other planets that have always existed and have always come into this planet, there's a set of them, I don't know if they were here before, but they invade your mind. Do it particularly. So one of the things I recommend is labradite, which is a crystal that is, I believe, the one that's the most earth. Because you can't be invaded if you have enough of the earth element. I have to say this story because it just says it all. I have a lot of clients and we work with them and they have this problem, that problem, the other problem, the other problem. They send me their photograph and I sketch it and find everything that's the matter. Not everything, but the things that we deal with. A lot of times they'll say to me, almost threatening, I'm going to send you my husband's photograph. He should be like really awful. And they'll send me their husband's photograph. Not bad. Okay. No black magic. No interfering things. And so I get back to the woman. Hey, here it is. And they said, but but you didn't find anything. I said, I didn't find anything because there's nothing there, but I have to ask you, what does your husband do for a living? Does he happen to work in nature? And they'll go, yeah, he's a gardener. Or say, well, he doesn't work in nature, but he does sports a lot, so he's always outdoors. So every single time somebody asks me about somebody that's supposed to be not in a good place, and their aura sketch is supposed to be enough to scare you, and there's nothing the matter with it, without exception, they are very connected to the earth element. So if you're not sleeping well, you're not getting enough of the earth element. Now, is your router underneath your bed? Is it next to your bed? Is it on the other side of the wall? Do you sleep with your cell phone? It radiates microwave. You're not going to be able to sleep because microwave burns your mind streams, puts portals in your aura, but microwave also has a sound. The sound is zzz. And there's a website, by the way, I have to get the link for you guys, where you can go, and the man is a scientist, and he has a page with the sound of electricity, of microwave, and I don't remember the other things. They all have a sound, which you can't hear, but your dog can. That sound is not good for you. It's like a drill. And that has basically sent everybody over the edge having to do with sleeping. The spirits come in and you think it's a dream. When you have other beings in your dream, those are spirits, because you see, they're dealing with your astral body, which I will show you now. Okay, here's your physical body, and here's your etheric body, which is a protection. It's like a grid. Here's your astral body. It astral travels at night, and it has a life of its own, which is very different from your life. So astral traveling at night is a little bit dangerous if you don't have enough of the earth element, because that means that your physical body is unprotected. It's weak. And that's one of the big issues, or one of the biggest issues with our children today. They don't have contact with nature. They need more contact with nature. Your kid is not doing well, take them on a vacation to the beach and put their cell phone away. Don't let them use it as much. Do not let them sleep with it. Make sure they're not sleeping with their head up against the wall, where on the other side of the wall is the router, or is the Comcast, or is the Xfinity, or anything that brings wireless into your home. It will make a huge difference. We have a lot of articles written on that on our website. We had a lot of people that wouldn't invite us into their home because we were obsessed with protecting people from themselves, basically from their radiating devices. So I had another question here. Did I lose my little paper? Okay. Another question people asked was, why are people so irritable? What is the matter with them? Why are they fighting so much? Why is it you can't ask a question without somebody wanting to bite your head off? Okay, that's easy. And then we roll back to the same place. Human beings are composed of elements. Reality is created, which includes us: earth, water, fire, air, and akasha. If you fire element, you will be anxious. And this is what started happening years ago. You will get anxious. Insomnia is from anxiety at night. You never relaxed. You weren't able to sleep. Too much fire. You get irritable. Too much fire. You get frustrated. Too much fire. You get angry. Want to kill. You're really angry. Way too much fire. You get emotionally violent. Way too much fire. You get physically violent. Way too much fire. And you kill beyond in terms of fire. Why are people irritable? Oh, well, how do you know that? Well, because I see it, because I am a really good diagnostician. and because we have what's called global warming. Climate change, whatever, we're not getting into any of that. Just the fact that they called it global warming is very significant, but it doesn't matter. Put that aside. There's too much fire because there's too many radiating devices. Now, Chinese medicine, what puts out fire? Water and earth. Well, that's not just Chinese medicine, that's camping. Okay, so if you have too much fire, you need to go to the beach more. You need to go to the mountains. You shouldn't be going to shopping centers. They have too many lights and too many stuff, too much that radiates, too many apparatuses that radiate. Water and earth put out fire. So throw your kids in the backyard. Give them the earth element. Don't let them sleep with a cell phone. That's reducing their fire. At home, make sure that next to your kitchen door, you have a little outside, a table and chairs, and a little, maybe an umbrella, a couple of plants, and eat as often as you can outside to put out the fire. Now, what I tell young people when I have to give them the bad news about sleeping with their cell phone, even though today, thank God, most people aren't sleeping with their phone, but you know what they do say? I don't sleep with my cell phone. I have it. And I go, how many inches away from your head do you have it? 18 inches on your bed? Not good enough. You have to turn it off, get it out of there. So you can reduce the fire, but it means having a more natural life. But isn't that what we need anyway? By the way, you can't have great sex unless you have enough of the water element. Microwave, which is what's radiating from all the devices, boils water. Water is the element of the second chakra, the sexual chakra. Oh, people aren't having sex. Well, maybe they're too radiated. Maybe they put out the fire in their second chakra with all their devices. With the little texting, how many inches away from your sexual chakra is your cell phone? Where do you have your cell phone? The men have it in their pants pocket. Everybody's hysterical today because of the drop in population. People are not reproducing themselves. I was screaming about that 10 years ago. People wouldn't even invite me to dinner. I was so hysterical about it. So then I stopped talking about it. And now Elon Musk is hysterical. Population collapse. Yeah, we're going to have a population collapse because you're not supposed to put your private parts in a microwave oven. It's really simple. Really, really simple. But there's something, and this has to be spirit influence. People are not so, but that's also the radiation. You lose your wisdom. You have a phone here. Okay, radiating microwave here. This is your third eye. Guess what? Third eye has to do with wisdom, vision, seeing everything, and wisdom. We're not wise. That got wiped out. It actually got burned out. Let's get off that subject because it's not a pleasant subject, but you really need to know something about it so that you can have a grip. Because what I tell the young people is, in a land where everybody is blind, a person that can see is king. If you take care of your head, your mind, your intelligence, your wisdom, your third eye, you're going to be like this. And everybody's going to be walking around like zombies, worse than today. So why don't you go ahead and take care of yourself so that you can be a winner, so that you can be okay, so you can be master of your destiny and not walk around like a zombie like everybody else. They kind of like that. Anyway, let's go on to the next question. Okay, somebody is asking if her new home has a hex. I really am not going to answer that question here. It gets really complicated because, and I'll tell you why. So I'm not going to answer any questions. You have a curse? Go ahead and order an aura analysis. But let me tell you why I'm not answering the question. It's not simply that I don't feel like it or that I want you to pay money, because I don't do house analysis anyway. So it's hexes, curses are very complicated. They are very real. Every religion believes in them. They're in the Bible several times. When professionals do it. They call it remote influence, but it opens up so much emotionally. Let's say Delicia, who's asking about this, let's say I say, yes, you have a curse. That can't stop there. She's going to want to know, firstly, she's going to want to know something I never say. Who did it? Why did they do that? Why do people do that? I agree with you. Why do they do that? I never say who did it, because you want to know something. The person who did the curse is most probably a professional. And her name is, or his name is Hector. So I said, oh, Hector did it. Oh, I don't know who Hector is. Of course you don't, because you don't know the person that got paid to do the curse. That's the person who did the curse. Now, who paid to have it done? Who's the person really responsible? We don't look at that. Ever. There are no exceptions. And you shouldn't waste your time trying to figure out who did that to you. But if you're asking if your house had a curse, it's because there's something going on. What's going on? Nobody's doing well in the house. Everybody's depressed. Things don't work out. One of the symptoms of having a house that has black magic is that the electronic equipment breaks. And it usually starts to break like from one day to the next. It's like, what's happening? Everything's breaking. That's usually a symptom. So I don't know if that's the reason why she's asking it. She may want to put here in the chat what it is that she is, what is it? Why? Does she just have a feeling? Which that is good enough. That means she's feeling something in the other dimensions. And most of the time when people want to know if somebody, the answer is yes. The sad part is that if you have a kid who's developing in that home and there is a curse, their development will never be the same as if they lived in a home that was not cursed or not haunted. Which brings me to the whole haunted house thing. Every place there's a router, there's a portal, because that microwave kills all the protective grids that God gave us, so that energies would not come into our homes or into us that are not supposed to come in. So most homes today have a portal. So my suggestion is that you check and see, where is your router? Where's all that extra electronic equipment that handles the Wi-Fi? 5G? I won't even talk about that. And I'll tell you a story and then you will automatically know what not to do. I had a radio show. It was really good. I mean, everybody said it should be syndicated. It was really good. Okay. One problem after the other, after the other, after the other. And an astrologer told me, not going to happen. Okay, it doesn't really matter. I kept trying because that's the way I am. Years later, I was writing my book called Your Electric Body. And I went to my office where my radio show, because I ran my radio show from my home and then we beamed it, or however, whatever word is proper, to the radio station. And then they broadcast it live. Where the router was, I walked into my office, the router's here. There was a black hole from the router all the way, a black hole. I could look up. It was just black. I went, oh my God, that is one heck of a portal. And then I realized my operator for my radio show was sitting right there. And if you think that the spirits weren't going to interfere with my show, you need to think again, because the kind of stuff that I do ultimately ends up a lot of it being about other beings. And the ones that aren't nice don't want for what I'm doing to work, to happen, whatever. They made sure the show was not able to continue. You have spirits in your body. Well, I don't know. Do you have a... Okay, so now what do we do? You have to find out what caused the portal to open that allowed the spirit in to be able to get into your liver, let's say. So then you would have to know, what are the issues with liver? What is liver about? Well, liver processes temperature in the body. And the temperature that's very iffy today is the fire. And what is the devil's favorite food? Fire. So much fire in the planet. No wonder so many awful things are happening. Basic, like I very famously say, I am not doing surgery to take away these wrinkles. First, I earned those wrinkles. They come from resentment for everything was done for me. But I said, I'm not doing this surgically or with injections, because something happened that I have those. And when I find out and purify those traumas, the wrinkles go away. Now, I have to say that they're already going away a lot, because they're really not that prominent. They're nowhere near as prominent as they've been for the last 15 years. And the truth of the matter is that I've done a lot of therapy having to do with resentment. So what did I just teach you now? This has to do with resentment. In other words, our emotions have like zip codes that they stay in. Like I've been noticing, no, we're not going to go play now, and we're not going to go bark at the neighborhood dog, okay? Just stay with me. Come on, come on. I've been noticing lately a lot of people have this hump back here. And on Twitter, they have a company that sells something that pulls your shoulders back so that you're more straight. But that particular hump here has to do with when you feel like you can't change your life, like you're trapped. Now, I suspect that if you ask a person who has here, if they feel trapped, they're going to say no. And why do I know that? Because if they felt it and they talked about it and they screamed about it, it would not have gone inside their tissue and created an issue. Now, there is a collection of flower essences called Dr. Bach. They have a flower essence for this part of your body. So you buy it, you put it there, and they also have a cream that you put the drops in, and then you put it there every day, and it really works. First place, it works on reducing that, and it works on reducing the feeling of impotence, of I'm never going to get out of this. I'm trapped, and that's it. I'm going to be silent and keep moving forward, one foot in front of the other, because I can't change this anyway. And I'm seeing that more and more because they feel very trapped. So I think that we have ended our first session on Twitter. Ask Frances, your favorite psychic spy. Why did I choose to put out the issue of me being a psychic spy? Because I've explained it to several people. Somebody the other day said, oh no, I liked you before you're different today. I said, yeah, I'm less victim. This is my background. I chose it. Before I incarnated, I would have never willingly chosen it in this lifetime. When my sister told me, you know that you chose this life and all those tortures and all that stuff, I said to her, stupid, that was 30 years ago. I am not, who would choose this life? It's enough for not one movie for 10 drama movies. You know what? I did choose it, but I did not remember when I came in the same way you don't remember. So why do I put it front today? Why do I say psychic spy? This is because it gave me the skill that I'm using to help people, but also because I don't want people coming to me and saying, well, but you're not telling people about the iffy part of your history. You know what? I've talked about it endlessly, but maybe people who meet me new don't know that, or maybe they don't know me from 30 years ago, that they've been seeing even what my history is on TV, Spanish television. Maybe they don't know that. I put it out there. This is who I am. Widen lens. Who am I? I'm not a psychic spy. I'm a person who came in to this incarnation wanting to do exactly what I'm doing here with you now. In order to do that, I couldn't be born in the Himalayas with the monks because they would have never gotten to you, because they haven't been able to teach you these things yet. I wasn't going to be a nun or another spiritual master because I wouldn't be able to reach as many people as I am able to reach today. So what do you have in your life that's really difficult? Oh my God, why on earth would I ever have chosen that? And that question will take you to very interesting places. You'll end up proud of yourself. You chose that, and you chose it in order to help. So I hope I widen your lens on what life is, which of course includes the other dimensions. There's a lot of information there, but I have to tell you, this is a lot more fun than having to learn this same stuff on the physical dimension. Okay? Well, why is my kid being so difficult? You take them to a psychologist, and then they do medical tests, and they do the, and then they don't have the answer because it's not on the physical dimension. So you become a bit of a detective. So I encourage you to do that. The same way I would encourage my dog to please stop barking. He's not going to do that. But I hope that you will do what I'm recommending, okay? So we are end this first, very easy. Hopefully some of you are watching this, or you will watch it later on. I appreciate you being here, and I hope you recommend it to your friends, and I hope you send more questions, even though there's a lot of stuff that I don't answer because it's not appropriate. Like, what's going on with my husband? Is he having an affair? We don't answer those kind of questions. What I tell people is, if you think he's having an affair, then there's something going on there. Why don't you do a mantra that has to do with correcting your relationship with your mate? Please, God, help me with my intention to have a wonderful relationship. Would be a really good mantra. And if you find out that he's having an affair, to clean up that. And by the way, this whole thing with sex and society today, this is not a chat about sex. We're talking a lot about sex. This whole thing with sex, I think we need to ask a lot of questions. Oh, we're not having babies, but we're also not having sex. We have kids that are late teens, early 20s. They've never had sex. And I would like for everybody to start asking all these trans and people that are doing surgeries, are they having sex? Or are they just changing the sexuality of their physical body? Because sex is other dimensional orgasm. It's an opening up of the chakra. Are they having sex? Are they getting that connection to God? Or are they just working on their physical body and the physical dimension? That would be sad. That would be sad. So anyway, we'll explore all sorts of things here. Sex is not off limits. Other things are, but I'll let you know. Okay? So I'm going to say thank you for joining us. And we will see you again. We're going to be doing this twice a week, and check our schedule. And we will be glad to see you again. And please send us comments, complaints. We'll listen to frances@francesfox.com. And we will be glad to respond to your questions. Okay? Thank you. Bye.